Everybody to today's webinar on MYOB tips and tricks. My name is Andrew Hargreaves. I'm one of the consultants at ThriveTech. First of all, we'll just start with a brief history on MYOB Advanced and MYOB Acumatica. Okay, so MYOB Advanced was actually a program, an ERP system called Acumatica, which has been around since 2008. It's a US-based ERP system. It was essentially repackaged or rebadged as MYOB Advanced for the Australian and New Zealand markets. And MYOB have recently made the decision to rebrand it again as MYOB Acumatica, which at least has the name Acumatica in it and is a bit more in line with what's going on with the rest of the globe. Okay. So another thing too is we're on the login page at the moment. I'd just like to speak about some of the changes to security and logging in that are going to be happening quite shortly. So MYOB have a release schedule for upgrades to the latest version. Once your tenant is upgraded to the latest version, you will be prompted to enter a 14-digit password now, and that's mandatory. So if, for example, you had an upgrade last night, you would have logged into your MYOB this morning and you would have been requested to enter your new 14-digit password. And along with that, MYOB no longer recommend enabling the option of password never expires. And this is just part of a move to upgrade the security with MYOB, seeing as it's a SaaS cloud product. And another thing too, the secure authentication, MFA or two-factor authentication, is actually going to be force enabled by MYOB at the end of this month on the 30th. So if you are a Thrive client, we'll be working with you over the next couple of weeks and we'll get everybody sorted this, so there's no nasty surprises on the day after the 30th of September. Okay, so we'll just log in. And this is a test tenant that Thrive has for our demonstrations. Okay, so as soon as we load, by default, we are loading the dashboard screen, which is essentially the main screen. I'll just wait for this to finish loading. So the dashboard is more or less an area where you can present business data in a quick viewable format. So as you might see, we've got some tables and we've got various graphs. While it's still loading, we can also see down the bottom right here, there is an actual widget. Each one of these little tiles is called a widget, and they can be configured for graphs, for tables, for a number of things actually. In fact, this widget here is actually called Job Site Camera, and it must have a live feed to a camera somewhere, but it needs credentials to log in. Otherwise, we could actually see the live feed from that camera. So you can actually put heaps of different things onto your dashboard, not just data. Okay, this is going a bit slow with the loading. So we'll just have a quick flick through some of the things here. We've got tables for costs by project, graphs for revised estimates by project, original estimate by project, remaining estimate, percent, profits by project, some more tables here, gross profit by project, contract status by project, another table, gross profit by project, and a few more at the bottom. And as you can see, there's actually quite a few items on this dashboard here. Most users would probably prefer something that fits on the main screen, but this is just an example tenant that we have, so we can show you the kinds of things that you can have on the dashboard. And you can actually click in these graphs, for example, and the blue links, and you can actually get a drill down. So if we were to click on this large piece here, which is in the org est by project, it will actually take us to that particular data. There we go. So there's the specifics about that makes up that portion of the graph. So that's what we call a drill down. I'll just refresh that. It's loading a little bit slow. There we go, that's a bit nicer. So, and you know, these are heavily customizable. You can really put any data in any format that you wish from the system into the dashboard here and see it in real time. It's highly customizable. So if we click on the design button in the top right here, we can edit the layout. This is where we can add new widgets or edit the existing widgets that we have, for example. So you click on add a new widget, and there's charts, data tables, embedded pages, which are documents, headers. You can also put web pages in here and all kinds of things, wiki pages. So yeah, heavily customizable. And Thrive can assist with getting dashboards set up to your specifications. And dashboards are also customizable across a business or by a group of users or by individual user. So if we have a dashboard that you like, it can easily be shared with other members of your teams. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll move away from there. I'd just like to talk about screen ID. So navigation around MYOB, everything in MYOB here has a screen ID. So if we look in the URL at the top of the screen here, we can see that we've got a number of zeros there. Now, you can tell the screen ID you're on because you will see it in the URL. Also, you can pop down in the tools menu on the right-hand side here, and it will tell you the screen ID. And screen IDs are important in MYOB because they reference exactly the page or the form you're on. And all the MYOB help refers to the forms and the screens with these numbers. Okay. So we'll have a look in the tools menu while we're here. So let's just go to a menu. We'll go to bills. So within the tools menu, you have a number of things. You've got your screen ID. As we can see here, we're now on the AP 3010PL screen. We can also check access rights and a number of things from within the tools menu. Access rights are useful for checking when you've got access to a screen, but maybe someone else in your team doesn't, and you're sort of wondering why you do and they don't. So if we click on that, it'll tell us who is actually able to view that screen. So as we can see at the moment, it's been set up that only administrators can use the screen, or customizers or franchise users. Now these form part of the roles within MYOB, and every time a new user is onboarded, they get selected certain roles which allow them access to certain parts of MYOB. So that's how you can tell who can access the screen that you're looking at if you've ever got those kind of problems. Also in here, we've got about MYOB. This will just tell you that the version that you're on. So the version we're running here is not the latest version. What else? And we've also got an education center in here. So the help that comes with MYOB is actually quite good, and you can get help from a number of different sources. So we click on the education center here. This actually takes you to a MYOB Acumatica online help section. You can search for a topic, or you can also click into the sub-modules and have a look. So here we can go specifically into accounts payable, and there's a number of topics in here that we could look at, and how-tos and etc., etc. Also in the top right here, we've got my profile. So we're at the name here in the top right. Normally this would be your own name. We've got my profile on the drop down. So from within your profile, you can change your password, you can change your time zone and default branch and location. Now, this is particularly useful if every time that you're logging into MYOB, it defaults to a company that is not the one that you want to work with. So if we drop the company menu down from the top, we can see we've got Maine, my company, and we've got Rapid Bite regional offices. We've got Melbourne and Sydney, which are actually locations, and then we've got the Thrive Constructions company. So if I wanted to open MYOB and I wanted to see Rapid Bite Melbourne every time I started MYOB, I can come in and set that in here by either picking the default branch or picking the location if you've got location set up. Okay, so another thing that I'll do here is show you how to add favorites. So on any screen, we've got the top there, next to the name of the screen, a little star appears, which is like a bookmark. It's basically a favorite. So if we click into there, that adds it to our favorites. Now on the MYOB left-hand side menu by default, you can see there's a favorites button. So if I click into that now, oh, it didn't actually edit. Interesting. I'll try with the bills adjustments. Here we go. I'll add that to my favorites. There we go. Bills adjustments is now my favorites. So you can put as many in here as you like. So essentially you could have everything that you need to use on this one screen rather than searching through the menus, which is a handy feature. You can remove these if you don't no longer wish to see them anymore. Refresh that and that will disappear. Okay. Also like to let everybody know that at the very top of the left-hand menu, there's the main page. So this is probably going to contain your company logo, but if you click up there where the Thrive logo is at the top above favorites, it takes you back to the main page where the dashboards are. Okay. So we'll also touch on the menu on the left-hand side. The left-hand side menu, by default, we've got an order, favorites, data views, payroll, etc. down to the left. Now we can actually adjust this as we see fit. So there's 3 dots down the bottom left of the screen called Open Configuration Menu. If we click onto that, we can edit that menu. So here, for example, we could you know, if you use finance, we could move the finance to the top. Exit menu editing. So there we go. We've now got finance at the top. Or if there are certain tiles here or sections that you don't want, we can adjust those too. So by editing the menu, we can also remove ones we don't want to see, and we can add other ones that you may not be able to see. So I'll show you what here and under more items. These are where the ones that don't fit in the menu or aren't in the menu live. So here we've got all the other tiles for the system. You can put any of these tiles, these workspaces, onto your left-hand menu that you wish, just by you going to the edit function and dragging them over. Right. So while we're talking about menus, I'll actually click into a module. Let's go into payables. It's a good one. Okay, so once you're in a workspace here, you can see we've got these transactions, profiles, processes, inquiries, reports, forms, and preferences, etc. This is also editable. So if we click on the cog in the top right on a module, configure quick menu, we can actually add additional things by checking something. So let's add the, for example, AP coming due report to our menu. Okay, so we'll exit that. Here we go. AP coming due is now available, and as again too, you can make any one of these a favorite by clicking in the star next to it. So if you want to refine this menu to you're only seeing the things that you want to see, easily come along here, untick all the things that you don't want, and add anything on the list here that you do want, exit it, and then it's customized to how you would like to view it. Okay, while we're here, I'd like to speak about the help section of MYOB. So let's go back to payables for a second. Right. So on any screen, you can see this circle with a question mark in it next to your name or the profile on the top right-hand side. This is where the help lives. So we click into the help. We've actually got a lot of different things within the help. Okay, so first of all, we've got activities. So here are a number of activities that are related to the screen that we're viewing, which is bills and adjustments. As you can see, AP bills process activity, and this is actually a link that has a video, as you can see from the little camera icon. So here's where to get information about related processes, how to enter a bill in the base currency, for example, how to reverse a bill, and then when we go down past the activities, we've actually got another section called related information, which is about AP bills, general information, for example, bill prepayments, and a raft of topics related to the screen that we're on. If you wanted to know specific information about the screen you're actually on, you scroll to the bottom and you've got form reference. So here's where we can see the screen ID again, which is AP301000. Let's click on that for a moment. So this is going to tell us specific information about the bills and adjustments form, and it will tell us everything. For example, what every column is about, what every field is about. So we can see form toolbar, and we've got a bunch of everything: approve, AP register, detailed, hold, pay, apply. Everything has got an explanation of what it is, and also to, you know, for example, reclassified GL batch. Saying here, this opens the reclassified transactions with that screen number form. So that, again, screen numbers are very important within MYOB. Okay, so the help is very good. It's very detailed, and I would definitely recommend having a look at the help if you ever stuck at all. Okay, so I'll just go close the help. We'll go back to where we were and we'll look at the help one more time because there's a little bit more at the bottom. Right down the bottom, we've got MYOB educational resources. That essentially takes us back to that screen that we were just before. It just looks a bit different. So you can come into here, click into construction or any topic that takes your fancy and read about these. There's also a very good help section on the MYOB Australia website as well. You can go there and click on support links and get help. And if all else fails, you still are struggling with the information you're looking for, because MYOB Acumatica is actually rebadged Acumatica, you can actually just Google Acumatica forums, and personally I've found a lot of information out in that way as well. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll look at some generic inquiries and reports. Okay, let's have a look here. We'll run a report. So it's a payables report. We'll go for a supplier summary. We'll run that report. And just for anybody that doesn't know, you can send the reports out of the system to external parties. You can export the reports to an Excel or a PDF, and the export function is actually very good. Everything comes out quite nice. We'll have a look at a pivot table report. Oh, it doesn't want to show me any data. Okay, maybe I'll select a different one. Here we have a pivot. So all the detail reports we have in the system, you can actually make them into pivot tables, which are, if you're familiar with Excel and what a pivot table is, it's actually a way of summarizing data that's a lot easier to read than just a massive table. So you can create a pivot out of any detailed report. This one has got nothing that I can see at the moment, which is a bit ordinary. We can also customize inquiries as well. So if the inquiry that you're running is not quite showing you the data that you need, for example, you want to see some additional data or a few extra columns, we can definitely do that. We can adjust the query, bring in additional columns to show you what you need. Also, we can adjust the queries to summarize the data that you might need to as a subset. For example, if you had a section of data for your payroll and you had normal employees and you had apprentices, you had to report to the apprentice authority or the training board every month, for example. you can easily get that pay activity reports trimmed down, or we can edit the query so it will only show you the apprentices, so you don't have to filter out or do any of the data selection yourself. You can just run that report and it will show you just the apprentices only, and then you can send that report off to the authorities or what have you. Okay, let's have a look at this one here, AP aging. Okay, I should have actually told you before we ran that report. So with the report, as you know, when you run it, you have parameters. So if I run this report right now, it's going to run the report as of this date, as of this company branch, in this kind of format. And you can also filter it down by selecting a certain supplier or supplier class, and it'll only show you those as well. There's also additional filters in this tab here on any report page. So here we can see we've got everything is sorted in an ascending order. We've got date, post period, date, reference number, and type. Easily able to adjust those to descending, so you can see the newest first at the top, and you can also add any filtering, additional filtering conditions that you desire. Okay, right, I'll run that report. And just to finish off, I would just like to speak about report modifications and the things that Thrive can do for these. So this is a default, default MYOB report. This is they've got a certain look about them. We can actually adjust any report in the system to your specifications. So, for example, if you didn't like the column layout, or you didn't want these columns in there, or you wanted additional data in there, etc., or even a different way of summarizing it, there is a report writing tool that MYOB supply as well that allows us to edit these reports and customize them. So that's perfectly possible too. You can have customized reports to suit your own needs. And we can also create reports from scratch too. So if there happens to be a certain section of data or something that you want to report on, but you can't find an existing report and within MYOB that's really giving you what you need, we can either modify an existing report to show you that, or if it's really different to what you want, we can actually create a brand new report from scratch to show you exactly what you are after as well. So it's a very customizable system, and there's many different ways to present the data, and we're always happy to help with any questions or things that you would like to see within MYOB, or any modifications or customizations that we can help with. This concludes today's presentation. Are there any questions? No. All right, everybody. Thanks for your time, and thanks for attending this webinar.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew. That was awesome.
Yep. Bye.
Yep.